Today we're going to be talking about compressors. Now some of you might be blessed to live in a place that has paintball fields nearby so you can easily get your tank filled. However, I live pretty rural and for me it's quite a drive to get my tank filled. And if I wanted to just go practice in the woods, I'm kind of limited about how much pressure I have in my tank because I have to plan it around trips to other paintball fields. So I've been thinking for a couple years about getting a compressor. Now, obviously I ruled out some of the bigger ones because it just wasn't cost beneficial. However, I noticed that there's quite a bit of smaller compressors on the market. And so I went ahead and purchased one to give it a try and see how useful this would be for me. So if that's something you're kind of wondering about and interested in and seeing if a compressor might be worth it for you, stay tuned. So in the box, looks like we get a bag to take it with, so kind of a travel bag. We have our manual. Looks like some tips on how to use your converter, other stuff. All right. First thing we got is obviously our compressor, which is the main thing that we've been wanting. Perfect, we got that. Other thing that comes with it is our power converter. So this will be what's plugged into the compressor. This goes into the wall. They also come with our hose and filter, so we'll need that. We also have jumper cables, I guess, unless you want to do this kind of more mobily if you're playing out in your backwoods and you just have your vehicle. The other thing that comes with, which is nice, that wasn't in the description, is they give you a lot of extra filters and spare parts. So it's kind of a nice little perk there. So right here, this is everything that you get in the package. Compressor, the converter, your filter with hose, your jumper cables and spare parts and manual. All right, so this is the converter right here. So you can see you can switch between different modes, whether you're doing like a 120 or 110 or 220. So we have that there. We have our basic plug-in, so you can plug this right in. And then from there it's converted and then it goes to the output. So with this output, you can tell that one side's flat, the other side is beveled. So what you're gonna do is when you come to the compressor, you're going to notice that obviously one side is going to work better than the other. So you'll plug that in, and then from there, and if this had juice, what you'll notice is this fan would start kicking on automatically to help keep it cool. But again, this compressor will not turn on until you hit the switch. So this here is the hose and filter. Obviously, quick disconnect. So when you have the compressor here, you just run it right in, stays on. Now, with this filter, it also do some quick changes, which they recommend doing. So you can see that there's that little piece filter in there, and you got these in the accessories. So when this gets too filled with water, you want to switch that because you don't want water going into your tank. So quick, easy. Make sure you put that on snug. And this quick disconnect here, this will attach to the nipple on your tank. All right, so this is just a rundown on some of the dials here. This one is the power in, so this will go from your converter, run right on here. This is the power switch. Now, once this box has power going to it, the fans will kick on automatically, but this will actually turn on the compressor. This right here is a bleed valve. So if you obviously open that up, the pressure will be coming out. So you'll want to do this when you disconnect your tank. This one is the burst valve right here. And this is the hose feed. So this is where you'll run your hose and filter, and then from there to your paintball gun. On the top, we have our pressure gauge. That'll tell you what's the output pressure it's going to be going at. And then over here is the temperature. The instruction manual says you don't want it to get above 80 degrees Celsius in there. So you just got to keep an eye on that. This does not have an auto shut off, which is fine because for my smaller tanks, I was going to be just setting a little timer on my phone anyway, just to keep an eye on it. What are my overall thoughts on the compressor? Well, overall, I think it did pretty good. It did exactly what it's advertised to do, and it did exactly what I needed to, and did it pretty quick. So now, will this work for some of the higher pressure or bigger tanks? I haven't tested that out yet, and I'm curious to try that later on this year. However, for me, again, that big disadvantage of not having a place or an ability to fill my tanks has been solved. So now with all the woods that I have around me, things like that, now I can go out and practice without having to worry about how much pressure I have in my tank and when I'll get that next fill. So overall, I think it did really good.